I was sitting at breakfast last week at my hotel. I was by myself and I observed something that was so heartwarming that I wanted to share with you guys. And by the way, this is another reason why you need to be present and not always be on your phone, because this is what I saw. So there was this old couple, probably in their late 70s, approaching the breakfast table, and the guy actually pulled out his wife's chair for her to sit down. Mind you, this is at breakfast. It's not some fancy dinner. And these people are in their late 70s. Like, they've probably been married for 40 to 50 years. I was in such awe that this guy took the time to pull out his wife's chair. God knows how many times he's done this in their lifetime. I mean, and this is just like a casual breakfast. It was so nice to observe this. I was just thinking, chivalry, do you guys think that men this day and age have the same level of chivalry that our parents' generation has? Let me know in the comments.
What's going on, fellas? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Let's get back to the video.
Like, just put more effort into, like, there's so many, there's so many things that you could do. Just put more effort and
just put in more effort, says the panel of women that never planned the first date in their lives. It is kind of convenient since for y'all to say that when you've probably never planned a date, set up the date, set the time.
They were not expecting such an obvious response. They honestly thought that telling men to put in more effort was somehow a useful piece of advice when it comes to dating.
How old are you?
I'm about to be 25.
Do you have a man?
No, I've never had a man because my bar is up here and all I'm receiving these days is bare minimum.
Wait, you're 25 and you've never had a man? You've never been in a relationship?
I was plus size till I was 18.
But that was, what, 8 years ago?
Calm down, come close. I'm about to be 25. That's not that far away. But like when I got officially slimmer at 19, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a boyfriend. Everyone just wants to.
She's never had a boyfriend, but that doesn't mean that she hasn't had an obscene number of bedroom partners. That's usually the way these women end up with their so-called high standards.
Guys like girls with no personality. I intimidate half of the people I try to entertain.
And nobody can handle it.
Have you been watching Love Island? I am Amaya, and I won't settle for less. If I'm not the book you should be reading, then don't read it.
Okay, let me ask you
Take
then.
me as you take me.
Let me ask you.
Take me. Drink it.
That's not an intimidating personality. That is an annoying personality, and no man wants to deal with a woman who compares herself to the women she sees on reality television.
What would you bring to a man's life besides looks?
No. And this is the number one thing that people should hear. I can offer myself everything. When I want a man, I need you to be adding to my life because I could sit in my room by myself
What would you
and
add to
enjoy
his
my.
life?
That's not. I'm the prize, my guy. And I feel like no, hold on. And I feel like I'm not trying to add to anybody's life. I'm a woman. I'm not seeking a man. I'm not seeking that. If a guy is coming into my space and he wants to be with me, I need you to be adding to my life because if you're not, I enjoy sitting alone by myself, talking to myself, being alone with myself, and I enjoy it and I love it.
You want me to stop at Chick-fil-A so she can use the bathroom? I say, well, we can go, cause we late and I got to get some gas.
They late.
You can go, I'm going to a new gas station. You can go use their restroom.
Right.
She throws a fit because I won't make a extra stop so she can go use whatever bathroom she wants to use. Forget that you making me late. Forget that I gotta get gas and I can say we can do one stop. No, she made that a big issue. And guess what the women did? That's your lady. You supposed to stop and you supposed to take her to a nice, pretty bathroom. I said, so these women narcissistic. If you think that somebody is the stronger person, since you look at me as a man, because these women are not looking at me as a woman.
Yeah.
Because the way I carry myself, the way I speak, my assertiveness, these women look at me as a man. So they treat me like one.
Right.
Really? Oh.
So in their minds, I was supposed to bend over backwards and take her to a special a special place to use the bathroom with me making a logical decision to do a one-stop shop so we can get on the road. I was the villain then. You're a narcissist. You're a narcissist. Why didn't you take your girlfriend to go use that bathroom? Wow. I said, so this is what they dealing with?
Yes.
Sensational. You know, and men ignoring women now is just a natural response to men continuing to be told that their attention was harassment. Y'all continuing to criminalize men, continuing to say, oh man, when you approach a woman, that's weird, that's creepy. And now when a man removes himself, then you get upset.
Oh yeah, because looks is the only thing that matters, right? And I thought someone's appearance doesn't determine their overall value as people. He should feel lucky he's with a beautiful girl. What's her personality like? And I'm sure these ladies found these men at least decently attractive, otherwise they wouldn't be on a date with them, right? Because beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
The fastest way to lose a good man, it's not cheating. It's becoming his biggest source of stress. He's already fighting the world, work pressure, money, expectations. If home feels like another battlefield, he won't stay long. Men don't leave because someone prettier shows up. They leave when peace disappears. If every conversation is a challenge, every decision is questioned, every moment feels tense, that's not partnership. That's pressure. He doesn't need a competitor. He needs softness where life is hard. Respect where the world doubts him. Loyalty isn't controlled. It's created. So if he's distant, ask yourself, are you his piece or just another problem?
Here's some crazy research for you. So a third of men, 33%, a little over a third of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner. The same study said that by the year 2030, that 45% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 will be single. So I've got a question for the men, because I see it all the time in my comments. Most of my comments are filled with guys saying we're done. We're not looking. We like our peace. I need some more talk from you guys. Tell me why you're done. Tell me why you don't want to have a partner in life. Tell me why it's more worth it to be single than to have a partner.
So I approached somebody in the wild and I wanted to share my story because I get so tired of seeing these TikToks where it's, like somebody filming somebody and they're like, TikTok, help me find this person because I should have shot my shot. And I just don't ever want to feel that way. So long story short, a couple weeks ago, I was at the grocery store and I was parking my car. And as I was parking my car, I saw literally one of the hottest men I have ever seen in real life walking into the grocery store. And I was thinking to myself, okay, you're gonna, if you encounter him in the store, you're gonna see, is he married? And if he is, then of course you're gonna leave it alone. But if he doesn't have a ring on, then you're gonna approach him. So of course I just go throughout my shopping experience. I encounter him in an aisle and I see that he does not have a ring on. So I'm like, okay, cool. But I chickened out. And so I encountered him literally 2 other times while I was in the store. And each time I just chickened out. And we both kind of looked at each other, but he just didn't give me a passing glance. And I was like, well, cool. We both have our AirPods in, whatever. And so I check out of the grocery store and I'm loading my car up and I'm really mad at myself because I chickened out. And I kept thinking to myself, oh my gosh, what would have happened if you had just not pussed out and talked to him? So anyhow, I'm starting to leave the parking lot and I see him walking out to his car. And I was like, you know what? Stop being a puss. Go and talk to him. So I parked my car over by where he was. I got out and I just walked up to him. And again, he had AirPods in. And so, I got within visual range and I said, excuse me. I said, I noticed you in the store and I was just wondering, do you happen to be single? And he looked at me and he kind of smiled and he said, I'm married. And I said, okay. I said, you should wear your ring, number one. But I said, I just had to approach you because if I hadn't, I'd always be wondering, what could have been. And I said, I hope you have a great day. Your wife is really lucky and I'm sure you'll have a nice chuckle at this later. And I walked off. And I was actually really happy. I mean, not in the fact that I got I guess technically rejected, but he was married. And I was glad too, he didn't say, oh, sorry, I'm married. He was like, no, I'm married, which is a good thing because it's you should be happy that you're married to your wife. But it just felt good to actually do something to advocate for myself because to this day, I would still be wondering what would have happened if I hadn't, approached him and what could have been and all of that. So my point is, like, you have this one life, live it, shoot your shot. Don't be afraid to be rejected or whatever. Like, it's not a big deal. As long as you're confident in yourself and all that, it's not a big deal. And I mean, as long as you're respectful about it, shoot your shot. Don't put it on TikTok and be like, TikTok, do your thing. Go and talk to them. So anyhow, that's my story.
You know, and men approaching women, the math a lot of times just doesn't really math. You know, just for a lot of times the risk reward ratio isn't there. I get to be embarrassed. This is what modern women don't understand. I get to be embarrassed. I get to be rejected. It's not really just rejection, it's humiliation. I get to be humiliated by you. Best case scenario, I'm praying that you don't even respond. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute like it used to. You want to embarrass me and you know, really honestly and truly take my dignity away from me.
One of the biggest lies that married couples tell each other is we're just too busy. You don't lose intimacy overnight. You lose it in small daily ways. Less touching, less flirting, less laughing with each other. More phone time, more stress, more feeling like roommates instead of husband and wife. So by the time that you actually lay down together at night, it is not that you don't have time. It's simply that you do not feel connected, because intimacy doesn't start at night. It starts in the way you talk to each other first thing in the morning, the way you kiss each other goodbye before you leave for work, the way you just hug each other in the kitchen, the small ways you make each other feel wanted during the day. The couples that stay connected don't just have less to do. They just refuse to put their marriage last. Because when the emotional connection is strong, the physical connection usually follows. But when that emotional connection disappears, intimacy starts to feel like a chore instead of a connection. And that's how marriages slowly turn into roommates.
Fellas, y'all gotta understand that chivalry is giving compliments, holding the door, just being a gentleman in general will get you painted as a thirsty nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying be a but be mindful. Not every woman appreciates a man that gives them compliments, tells them how beautiful they are. They got enough on their Instagram telling them how beautiful they are. They want to know what's the Cash App situation. What's your Apple Pay? You know what I'm saying? They want to get straight to that money. You know what I'm saying? Women nowadays their egos are so big. They feel like when a is being a gentleman and doing all of that, they feel like that's their scheme to try to you know what I'm saying? They so filled up about their body and how they look that, you know, they just can't accept anything. You know what I'm saying? They feel like it's a trap. Oh, he's trying to get me. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what I'm saying? They got you out here paying their bills, paying for their nails and shit. They don't even tell you thank you. They say period. You know what I'm saying? You should have did that. That's what a man's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So just be mindful of who you being a gentleman for. You know what I'm saying? If you being a gentleman for ungrateful, you need to cut that out immediately. These hoes get paid and get rich. Now, I'm not knocking your hustle, but I'm just letting you know right now. All these hoes that y'all look up to, these OnlyFans models, all these hoes, they are getting paid off of goofies. So if every stop being a goofy, these gonna have to go back to Kmart. They're gonna have to work at Payless again. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have to go work with Habibi. Mop that flow. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be goofies out here, man. Y'all putting these hoes on these high pedestals, but there's a out there that just can't stay in that. He know the real her. So, hey, it's up to you to be a goofy. Because I ain't going for it.
What pisses me off is the discourse around how women only go for the top 15% of men. Like, am I supposed to be going for the fat loser who doesn't have a job and lives at home? Am I supposed to be attracted to that? Obviously, I'm going to be attracted to the guy who's ambitious, the guy who's manly, the guy who takes care of himself and his health and works out, the guy who's tall, the guy who's going to give my kids good genetics. Why on earth would I be attracted to the fat loser? Or any loser for that matter. Even an average guy. Like, why? If I could pick the best of the best, why would I be attracted to the mid-tier? Like, hello. Especially if I'm a top quality girl. What happened to earning your place in this world? You're gonna be a loser in this life and then expect people to want you? Like, that's just common sense that that's not going to happen. Like, if I was fat and ugly, I would not be surprised that men are not going for me and instead they want the girls who are fit and beautiful. Like, I didn't earn to be on their level. I didn't earn to be wanted like that. So maybe instead of complaining that women only want the top 15%, work on becoming top 15% or somewhere near that number. Instead of sitting at home being a loser, trying to be a little victim.
I saw you tweet, kids as young as 9 are addicted to porn. Girls as young as 13 are using fake IDs to post explicit content on OnlyFans. A third of those selling nudes on Twitter are under the age of 18.
Yep.
Can you unpack that, please?
Everyone just accepts now that parents are overprotective. So there's like the helicopter parenting and the coddling of Gen Z.
Yeah.
But I think like parents are weirdly, they're not protective enough, but they're also coddling. So they're like, coddle their children, but not put up proper boundaries or guardrails. There's like no rules, but they're over involved.
Overbearing in all the wrong areas and totally absent in all of the wrong ones as well.
Jonathan Haidt talks about it when he says kids are overprotective in the real world and underprotected online. Think of dads now. I think dads are less protective than they've ever been because they can't care about what their daughter wears or where she goes or who she dates because that would be backward. You know, it's her right to do that. I think what has accidentally happened is feminism pushed this idea of like girls and boys are just as strong as each other. And then that led to people thinking, oh, so girls don't need extra protection, which is chivalry, but also fathers actually protecting girls. Because the problem is not like women are weak. It's that girls are vulnerable.
You know, and modern women, oh, well, maybe he's intimidated, maybe he's shy. It's not really shyness. It's more so, well, you know, it's a strategy. Why in the world would I walk into a situation where the best outcome for me is, you know, kind of a neutral reaction? That's the best outcome. It's not going to be positive with these modern women. It's not going to be, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's not going to be that. It's going to be more of you looking, you know, silly with an RBF. Right. And obviously the worst case scenario is you trying to humiliate me in public. Why would I? That doesn't make any sense.
Things that my low effort boyfriend does that would probably send girls with high effort boyfriends into a coma. We've been together for 2 years and he's never taken me on a date our entire relationship.
He's never bought her a gift. He's never driven her anywhere. He's never bought her flowers. He talks about other girls that he likes to her. Girl, are you sure that he knows that he's your boyfriend?
Listen, baby girl, the one thing you'll never have to beg a man that likes you to be is consistent. Now, I ain't saying that man gonna be perfect, but he's gonna show up. He's gonna give effort. He's gonna be there daily. And if that man ain't that, then that man don't like you like that. I get it. You like, well, he's a good catch. But if that good catch don't realize that he needs to put a good foot forward on a regular basis to show you that you can trust him. Because that's what consistency do, right? You can rely on a man who shows up regularly. But if this man is hot and cold, then man don't like you like that. If this man shows up and he don't like you like that, that's not the man for you. You need a man that you can depend on. Because you got all these men talking about submission. You got all these men talking about, I want to be a leader. But how can you trust the leader that leads when he feels like it? When he leads when it's convenient. This man is not dependable. I hope for your spirit that you never yoke yours with a man that can't be trusted. You don't know when and where and how and why this man will show up. That's not a man for you. Listen, I get it. Everybody on the internet gonna make it seem like you got super high standards. But the bare minimum that you expect, and nobody should give you flack for, is a man to show up and be there on a consistent basis. If he ain't that ain't the man for you.
What happened to yearning? What happened to yearning? What happened to men being utterly obsessed with people?
Wait. What am I obsessing over? For what? Like, there's two reasons why men don't obsess over anything. First of all, you've given away all of your virtue. Maybe not you, miss, but women have given away all of their virtue, right? They, just like that video we saw a couple weeks ago where Shorty was like, give in to all of your desires. Go sleep with that guy you're not supposed to sleep with. What I want to be with a woman who gives in to all of her desires and hooks up with men that she knows aren't good for her. Like, I can kind of let it pass if someone fooled you into thinking they were a good guy and they weren't, right? I can forgive you. But if you don't hook up with a man that you know is garbage because he's hot to you, what am I yearning for you for? You're stupid. Like, why would I yearn about you? You're dumb. You're a dummy. Okay? And on top of that, let's forget the whole that. You say you want a man that yearns, right? Maybe not you, miss. You say you want a man that yearns, but when that man does begin to yearn, he's a weirdo. He's a creep. If he's not a weirdo and a creep, he's giving you the ick. It's like, you don't want the dude who's actually yearning for you. Like, y'all don't want it. Y'all don't want the dude who's going to show up to your house with a bouquet of flowers on the first date. Y'all don't want that. Y'all don't want the dude who would throw his jacket on the puddle for you, which I always thought was stupid. Like, we can go around the puddle. But, like, you don't want that guy, okay? You don't want the guy who will not let you touch a doorknob. Something about him's giving you the ick. Like, something's wrong. Like, why does he like me so much? Y'all don't like that. Right? And am I being biased off of my own experiences? Absolutely. I had a shorty tell me, I don't know, I feel like you just do things to make me happy. And she broke up with me for that. Am I mad about that? Yes. What do you mean I do things to make you happy and you left me? Like, I thought that's what we were supposed to do. I thought that's what we were supposed to do. I'm supposed to do things to make you happy. You're supposed to do things to make me happy, so we happy. Right? I wrote Shorty a love letter. She said it was creepy. You were my girlfriend. I wrote my girlfriend a love letter. I'm creepy for writing my girlfriend a love.
Now, one thing I see on the internet a lot is highly debated.
Right.
You know, is it 50-50 or is the man paying everything?
It matter what part of life your man's in. And all women know what kind of man they got. You know when you got a man that's building, he's growing, that 50-50 guy, the guy that's on his way up that ladder. That's the best time that I believe women should start a relationship with a man when he's building, because when a man and a woman work together, they'll work quicker and they'll move mountains together. It's best for a woman to actually build with the man, because when that man gets to the point where he can pay it all himself, well, if you didn't help him get it to the top of that mountain, baby girl, you ain't gonna have as much say so. You basically gonna have to do whatever he's on is what he's on. Because if you did not help me get to this mountaintop, you don't got to say when I get up here. But if you were a part of the process of me coming from the valley up that mountain, well, then you got some skin in the game. You know what? Yes, I value your opinion. Yes, you have more say so because you actually helped me get here. See, a lot of these women don't run a marathon with the man of life. They just want to wait to the end of the winners. That wait at the end of the winners, hey, I won. But you ain't going to be the only one. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah, that seems to be more of the theme nowadays with women. Like, they ain't building. They're just waiting at the finish line.
Yeah, share. Prepare to share. Because if you did not help me build this, if I want to take advantage of my options, I will.
But then I seen this video where the was talking about she spent like, I don't know how many, 10 years with this man. The business was in his name. He didn't marry her. They had kids, and now he's leaving.
Right. Well, if you spent 10 years with a man, you ain't got nothing to show for it. What were you really doing? How you gonna spend 10 years with a man and you ain't got nothing to show for it? That's your fault now. I ain't say be stupid. If you are working and you and this man are prospering, then how do you have nothing? Especially if a man's paying for things.
Well, she was taking care of the kids and doing everything while he was building the business.
Right.
And now the business is highly successful.
Right.
I think he's leaving, and she feels like she's entitled to some of that business. Men leave women when sometimes people are compatible at certain points in times of their life.
if we were struggling in the mud together, and you were a good we good in the mud together. You good with struggling. You good with conflict. You good with drama. You good with trauma. You good in those elements. All right, cool. We're not struggling anymore. We out the mud. All right, stop fighting. The fight's over. The war's over. And so some women, it's only good for wartime. It's peacetime now. Shut up. We got car. You got a car. I got a car. We got cars, houses, and everything. There is no fight no more. We got out the hood. And so some women don't know how to cut that off. They still act like they're in the hood. They still want to act like it. They still want to talk to the man like it. They still want to do the things that they were doing before then. That's what we had. We had to leave those things alone so we could get here. And so a lot of women don't know when the war is over, when the fight to get out of poverty is over. And if a man that has fought his life to get out of there, the last thing he want to do is fight with his woman when he come home. And so they grow apart because her mind is still in the trenches and his mind is looking to the next thing.
And once again, these modern women, they don't think long term. So they'll trade in a man who's going to plan your future, who's going to plan the date, who's going to do what he's supposed to be doing, for a man that's going to say, hey, I can plan the weekend for you. Well, what's wrong with somebody planning the weekend for you? It's short term. I'm only planning on seeing you short term. What you don't understand is that man that's going to plan a future with you is going to plan all of that. I can plan the short term. I can plan the long term. I'm a one-stop shop. Now, understand I ain't going to be perfect. A lot of times I might be quote unquote boring to you because you used to being undisciplined, but you're going to have a good life if you go with me.
So like I live alone, and so I was making this and I felt good because like I thought I did it. I was like, oh, she don't need no man, she's independent, but I messed up on it. And like, why is it wobbly? I have to fix it. I need a man.
So the major differences between men and women, that's why they're born with those testicles. Like, whoa.
What are the differences between men and women in relationships, especially?
I could take a month to do this, or I could
take it away. Honestly.
I'm going to give the tip of the iceberg, okay?
Yeah.
Because so the major differences between men and women are literally created by the gender hormones that are triggered in the womb at 21 days of gestation, which is when the X and the Y take over. So if you think of baby boys, they are being pickled in testosterone. That's why they're born with those testicles. Like, whoa, right? Well, they have as much testosterone in their little bodies as a man. And girls or females are being pickled in estrogen. Well, the difference is that for boys, they have that much testosterone until about 9 months after birth. Women, our brains pickled in estrogen, we have that much estrogen till about 2 years after, which is what makes little girls able to like toddle into a room and just steal your heart because they all this radiance and this connection to the eternal and overflowing with joy, which is something men really need from women.
If you leave a good man to go and have a hoe phase, don't you dare complain when you can't find a good man in the future. Don't you dare complain. And if you're that guy that got left, you're a fool if you take her back.
For 10 years, I got married young. I was 21, barely. I remember feeling like my marriage was temporary from the beginning.
So let me get this straight. She was married for 10 years, strung this man along for 10 years, had children with this man, and knew from the beginning that she didn't want to.
So yesterday I posted about basically going through a divorce with the good guy. And I say good guy in the sense that, like, he is a great person. Like, it's nothing against him. We just two people that have grown apart, have the same common denominator of keeping our kids number one, letting them see us happy and healthy. Like, that's what I want. I don't why is it so bad? The amount of DMs and messages that I have received from people in the same exact situation, same ages, don't know how to get out of it.
So when I say women have no idea how to take accountability, this right here, she is the perfect example. Now, is it okay to divorce somebody who is not good for your life, who is not good for your mental health? Absolutely. But if you watch this woman's video, she does nothing but talk about how amazing her soon-to-be ex-husband is, that she loves him, he's a wonderful dad, he's a great provider, but there's just something missing.
Call it quits on my marriage. We've been married 14 years. Together since I was about 16. I'm 38 now. He is a good guy. Great father.
Ladies, cut your shit.
About how hard it is to let go of the guy who you love and who loves you. And there's so many beautiful blessings in the relationship, and yet you just know deep down that they are not your forever person.
Let's talk about it. Yes, good men still exist. They didn't disappear. Y'all just don't recognize them. And I'm not even trying to be funny when I say this. Some of y'all aren't used to a good man. That's why y'all can't find one. Because when you finally meet one, he feels too boring. He feels too calm. And you up here talking about, I don't know, something is just missing. No, nothing is missing. You just not used to peace. See, you used to confusion. You used to arguing, blocking, unblocking, crying 1 minute, laughing the next minute. You used to inconsistency feeling like passion. So when a man comes in and he's solid, he communicates, he not out here playing games, he actually likes you and he shows it. Now all of a sudden it feel weird because there's no anxiety, no guessing, no chasing. And instead of you saying, dang, this healthy, you start self-sabotaging it. You start pulling back, overthinking, and creating problems that don't even exist. And that good man is sitting there like, I'm doing everything right. So what's the problem? The issue is peace feels unfamiliar to you. That's what the issue is. But let me tell you something. Peace is not boring. Peace is safe. Peace is stable. Peace is what you prayed for. So don't fumble a good man just because he don't come with chaos. Because the same thing that you calling boring today is the same thing you're going to be begging God for later. Okay?
When a man won't put the work in to pursue you, he's telling you he's not a man, he's a princess. A man's job is to work. For centuries, a man went to a woman's family and begged for her hand in marriage. He brought gifts, he tried to show he had more resources than the other men he was competing with, and he had to prove with documentation that he could provide before he even got access to a woman. But now, men take selfies and post them on Instagram and say they're the prize. When he's telling you he doesn't chase, he's telling you he's not ambitious. He doesn't see things he wants and commit to getting it. No, he wants to sit back, relax, kick his feet up, and send you out to do the dirty work. The way a man pursues you is a demonstration of his work ethic, and it will affect your entire future with him. Is he willing to step up? Is he willing to put the work in to build something for you and your family? Or is he going to be in his princess energy? Men think they're doing something when they say they don't chase and other men clap for them, but all it really shows is maybe they prefer attention from other men.
I think modern women, they feel like men like to gamble, right? Well, I guess they do, to be honest. But it's not really controlled, or there's no, when you're going and approaching women, a lot of men are going to see it as, well, I don't really have control. Like, say, for instance, if you're doing sports betting or whatever, you can kind of pick this factor, pick that factor, do this, do that. And it when I ship it out, it's got what I want. I put it out there. Obviously, there's going to be factors that you can't control, but, a lot of inputs I'm picking. With modern women, it's a little bit different because all you can really control is how you approach somebody. And for a lot of modern women, when a man is approaching them, now I can see if the man disrespects you, but if a man is approaching you in the way that he should, then it would follow to a man in his mind, oh, well, you know, at the very least, she's going to be polite. But modern women, regardless of how you approach, they're not polite. If they don't like you, they're going to act stupid.